this month, there are some new laws in Arizona tackling a big issue, child sex trafficking.
In November, voters passed a ballot measure calling for a mandatory life sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. 12 News journalist Erica Stapleton found that there are also other parts of the criminal justice system designed to help children who were impacted by trafficking.
Yeah, Mark Caribe, when people think of trafficking, a lot of people think it's like the movies, people getting snatched off the streets, but that's not always what it looks like. And courts are recognizing that this vulnerable population, children, need attention. This is not your normal courtroom.
But I know their favorite snacks.
Paintings, plants.
Talkies are the #1 request, and we let them take a to-go bag if they want.
This is Maricopa County's Strength Court, created for kids and teens who are survivors of sex trafficking.
I love that the courts are recognizing that our system itself can be traumatic to someone.
Juvenile Judge Melody Harmon.
And I've actually never had a young person say that they didn't want to participate once they come.
Kids and teens may go to this court if they're a ward of the state in DCS care, or if they're charged with a crime.
An assault or something that happened in their group home. It's those type of crimes that we see. And of course, we are looking at everything through the lens of the trauma they've been through and making sure that any consequence that's imposed is appropriate.
Court hearings filled with resources, including a survivor mentor. To people who say, oh, youth aren't being trafficked in Arizona, that's not a thing, what would you tell them?
We know from firsthand experience that it absolutely is a thing.
A study released last year by Mercy Care and ASU's Office of Sex Trafficking Intervention Research identified more than 300 child sex trafficking victims in Arizona from January 2021 to May 2023, with a big spike in victims from 2021 to 2022. The study found that the majority of victims were teenagers 14 and older, and that at least 60% of the child trafficking victims were put in DCS care.
Children are forced into situations by their own family members. And so I think that that's one of the most shocking things that we see.
Homelessness also an issue.
Because trafficking can be any exchange of a sexual favor for housing.
In adult courts statewide, a new law mandates life in prison for anyone convicted of sex trafficking a minor.
And I think they should have life in prison because what I experience stays with me for the rest of my life.
Sherry Lopez runs Pearl at the Mailbox, a nonprofit to help trafficking survivors, motivated by her own story.
I am a sex trafficking survivor. I was trafficked for 7 years, starting at the age of 15 by my high school boyfriend's father. In hindsight, talking to my parents, I lived at home for 3 of those years that I was being trafficked, and they never knew what was happening to me. Any child can be at risk.
She's been working with lawmakers to further address what she sees as gaps, like education on grooming and harsher punishments for trafficking children older than age 14.
The internet has just made it a playground for predators, and it's made it so much easier. They don't have to put in as much work, and they can groom multiple kids at one time, just online.
Back at Strength Court, trauma is top of mind.
We know what they've been through. They know that we care about them and that we're supporting them.
And when a teen turns 18,
they have the right to ask for their records to be destroyed because we don't want any of this to color their future.